Alright guys, so today we're going to be looking at Spellbreak, and I know it's a lot a bit late for this game, but between Mafia's surprise release and Star Wars Squadrons coming out, and just preparing for all the other games that are coming out very soon, this review got pushed back a little bit, and a lot of the clips and even some of the review itself is from a few weeks ago, so if there's been updates changing some of this or adding new content that I haven't gotten to yet, forgive me on that part. But before we get into it, let me just say that only 10% of you who watch these videos are subscribed, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. We want to get that number up by the end of the year, and doesn't hurt, it's free, you just press a button, good to go. It helps you see the next video, and it helps me out. Alright, but let's get into the actual game. So, if you don't know what Spellbreak is, it's another battle royale, but it's different in a way that doesn't use guns, as you've seen here, and it uses 6 different elemental spell types, right? And you use these through gauntlets that you pick up, and that is part of the loot, right? So there's your typical avatar elements, fire, water, earth, air, and then they have lightning and toxicity. Now, these aren't the exact names for them, but that's generally what they are. So without guns, the loot system works a little bit differently, and so it's still traditional gear to pick up. It's just in a different sense than guns and ammo and all of that. There's boots, which increase your speed, a belt, which will increase your mana, and some other piece of gear that I don't really remember right now that increases your overall shield. I believe it's a charm or something like that. And so that's kind of the main loot that the game prompts you to pick up in its battle royale style. There's plenty of chests scattered everywhere, so you're definitely going to be getting some loot, and the rarity varies depending on where you land, but practically everywhere is a hot drop. There's also, you see these shield and health potions along with runes, which is that bottom middle ability. These range from really useful, like flight, allowing you to fly on the map and hover and all that stuff, to some invisibility and not as useful ones. So that's kind of just the flow loot, along with scrolls and other passive abilities that you get. But as far as weapons go, you go into the match choosing one of the 6 elements as your main primary element. You can upgrade this to get cosmetics. None of it is leveling or progression based to make you play better than everybody else. It's purely loot gear based for your performance. So you start out with your primary elemental type that you go in with, and then throughout the world and while looting or killing other players, you find a second one. And so what's interesting about this isn't just that it's using elements instead of guns. While that is interesting, and it requires quite a bit of skill in order to aim ahead of people, because they don't behave, again, quite like bullets do with travel time and drop. There's some of are slower, some are faster, and they all handle differently. But with each having a primary and secondary ability, they also combine in a way you would expect elements to do, but very interesting and uniquely in ways we haven't really seen and you wouldn't expect. For example, in this particular game you're watching, I'm using toxicity as my secondary ability on the left down there, and fire as my primary. And so these two work well together in a sense that you saw a little bit earlier, where you can create that big cloud of toxic gas and then shoot a fireball into it and it explodes. Or you can make a wall of fire, and if your secondary is earth, shoot a rock ball through it and it catches on fire. All the elements combine or cancel out, and you have to have knowledge of what does what in order to really thrive in combat. For example, if someone is using ice and using a path made out of ice to quickly traverse the map, and if you're fire, you can put a fireball in the middle of their track and melt the ice, ruining their path and escape. There's air, which you can combine with lightning and fire to make fire and lightning tornadoes. There's all types of combinations in this game to really experiment with and find what build works for you. So that's really the main appeal, is those elements and how they combine, and it's just different compared to guns. Like I said earlier, with customization and progression, as you level up with certain elements as well as your profile, you'll unlock new kind of buddy backpack things you see following me around behind me, calling cards, emblems, trails, all types of stuff, the usual outfits, usual customization in Battle Royale games. There is a store which has, all the cool outfits, but the good thing about this game is that it is completely free. And so if you were to ask what's the main appeal of this game, other than, of course, the magic and the spells and all of that, because that is the main appeal, and it being free, of course, is that this game has a lot of traversal to it. As you can see here, there's people flying all around, there's buildings that are super tall, there's caves that go underneath buildings, there's all types of mountains across the map and valleys, and it's just a really traversal type game. You're constantly jumping around, not to the point where it's annoying like Fortnite, and that can happen. There are fights that can be quite annoying, and this game can be quite difficult when you first start out not knowing what elements combine and how to use what together. But particularly towards the end of games, when it's just chaotic and there's so many players around and you have to see people use elements in ways that, aren't typical that you normally see, it gets really interesting. Personally, I think, along with the traversal and the rune specialization, and another really great thing, personally, is it might just be one of those luck things, but I feel you can typically, if you don't get killed right off the bat, can end the game with pretty high kill games. It's not one of those battle royales where you're going to be sitting, camping in a room, and just waiting for the end to end with one kill. You can get close to 10 kills, even in solos, almost every game when you make it past the initial phase. So that's just some of the things that I like about the game. So we'll end the video talking about the future of the game, and they have a relatively short-term goal or plan laid out for the game, and it's about 6 months to a year. Once they stabilize the game, they want to weekly release new content, and not just new content in the fact of new skins or new calling cards or whatever that customization may be, but they want to release gameplay changes, rather that's new runes, new equipment, new elements, new areas of the map. They want to release something that changes the game completely every single week. And not only that, they want to have some sort of cutscene or cinematic with lore elements tying it all together. So I just think that's interesting. It could really carry the game for a while. But that's just my opinion. You guys let me know what you think of this game. If you've already played it, or if you haven't played it, go check it out. It's free. And let me know what you guys think of it. And I'll see you guys on the next one.